Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Lance, it's you and I today on a light Friday, pre-4th of July.
It's a big holiday weekend.
Yes.
It's a big holiday weekend.
Yes, it is. So hope everyone enjoys their time off and what they're doing. Hey, what we're going to do is we're sort of transitioning on Fridays. What we're finding out, gang, is Fridays SBA doesn't really release a lot of stuff.
No.
As in nothing. So we're going to talk about some fraud and just an update on PPP processing. But let's start with this, Lance. We are expecting a ton of stuff to hit by the 15th, so maybe next week. Just sort of recap what's on your list that you're waiting for SBA to deliver.
Well, really, and most lenders think that SBA is going to release some guidance on the purchase demand process on PPP loans, the guaranteed purchase process, and I believe they will as well, and we're all very hopeful for that information. How to simplify or make forgiveness more efficient. I know an important thing for SBA is for all of us to get finished with our 2020 forgiveness, because 2021 forgiveness is right on top of us now. So there is a huge push to clean out the 2020s. And one story, or not story, Bob, but one thing I think a lot of us are experiencing is a surge in lender additional information needed in the platform. Let me
interrupt you there. How does that work?
Well, if SBA gets a forgiveness application that's not complete or they have questions, they will put a letter in the lender additional information needed. They'll send a message to the bank in the platform. You can go to that loan, open it up, and see a request for additional information. And SBA has been putting forgiveness applications that are under review in there as well, and requesting some information. You know, typically on a simple form, Bob, they're just asking for the application to be sent in. But there was a surge, and I talked to some of my friends at SBA, and I think the surge comes from we as participant lenders probably have not responded to the lender additional information needed category the way we should, but we've all been focusing on pushing the 2020 forgiveness through the process. So you know, if you suddenly saw that number jump up and you're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? SBA is just making an effort to push and clean out the 2020 forgiveness. And you may have to develop a process to pay attention to that, because, you know, Bob, there was a time we could get one or two a day, and now, you know, we're getting quite a bit more than that, and we're having
that's my question, Lance. How am I notified through email, or does it just pop up on the report?
There's a notification that would typically come to the lender by email, but it's also in the platform. Okay. And you have a specific time period to respond to that, and it's an incredibly short time period. And I just want to tell all the lenders, if one of those time periods have passed, don't freak out. You still can submit the information into the portal, and it typically just consists of looking at the letter that's in the portal that requests the information, and then just uploading it into the portal.
Lance, how much time is SBA giving the lenders to process these requests?
Well, some of the letters you get say 5 days, Bob. So it's kind of interesting how there's such a short time frame. And I'm not suggesting that if you've passed the 5 days you can't still respond, because SBA is not in the business of not forgiving.
No, they want
these
them off the
loans.
books. They want them off the books. Yeah.
They want to get them all forgiven. The big push, I think, is just to catch our attention and get us to address these and get the information to them so we can get it through the system. So if you're seeing the numbers surge in that category, and you may not be, but if you are, you may have to develop a dedicated person or a few people to getting that cleaned up.
Lance, changing the subject a little bit, one of the reasons why we're going to be getting a new PPP forgiveness questionnaire is that there was a lawsuit by the Associated General Contractors of America. They filed a lawsuit, and they said that, quote, the questionnaire was immediately controversial in that much of the requested information appeared to have little relevance to the assessment of a borrower's good faith in making certifications. But anyway, they said that last week the AGC announced that they were in negotiations to settle. That's why one of these new procedures are coming down. The news is important because lenders generally have not requested borrowers provide these questionnaires until after loan forgiveness. So anyway, that was the impetus on that new questionnaire, and you expect that to hit next week. What else are we waiting for, Lance?
Well, we're waiting on 504 refinance information.
Well, that's
I was trying to explain that to someone the other day. We have been waiting for a long time. I think part of I could be way off base, Bob, but 504 lending is at record levels, and I can't imagine what would happen if they release that guidance right now before the end of the fiscal year. I mean, I think all the money would be gobbled up pretty quickly. Of course, when you're refinancing, anyway, the long and short of it is, I'm of the belief we'll probably see that guidance if we're going to see it after the end of the fiscal year. I could be way off base. If somebody here knows differently, let me know. But that's just my thought. But most is centering around, cleaning up 2020 PPP forgiveness and then starting the 2021 process. And a lot of it centers around us understanding what it takes to get the guaranteed purchase done on PPP loans.
Lance, I'm assuming that they're doing this push because they want the 2020 stuff done by September 30th, 2021, that fiscal year.
I think they want it done sooner than that.
Well, they do, but they don't want to go into fiscal year 22 saying, hey, we saw this fiscal year 20 stuff hanging over our head. So I don't have an issue with what you're telling me.
Oh, no. I completely understand what they're doing, but just like SBA, lenders that were incredibly active in the PPP lending business.
Now you get to earn your fee.
Some of these surges in request and just cleaning it up, it requires you to get creative and to utilize your staff with maximum efficiency. So
that's very good. Hey, let's go to the poll questions. We got some fun ones. Number one, what is the specific act that defines PPP loan fraud? One of these is specific. We sign a false application with the lender. We submit fraudulent payroll docs. We transfer the loan funds to another account and we buy catamarans and Lamborghinis and Cougarans. Or we submit another application, number 2, 3, 4, 5, with multiple companies that we claim to own.
This is definitely an interesting question, Bob, but I know where my vote goes.
All right, I'll let you go first. Where's your vote?
I'm in line with our people on the show today. I would say signing a false application is the bad one.
Yeah, and that's why they're getting all these plea bargains and these convictions, because it's pretty straightforward. They signed it. It was false. There's not too much of a defense that you can have for that. Submitting fraudulent payroll. Go ahead, Lance.
Almost all SBA documents are this way. When you sign it, whether you're the borrower or the banker, participant lender behind it, you're certifying certain information is correct and true to the best of your knowledge. And
it doesn't make any difference whether you get the loan funded or not. Once you sign it, that's you.
Yep.
if it's false information, you have issues, a lot of
Uh,
issues.
Absolutely. Now, all
What
these
percentage?
other,
Go ahead, Lynn.
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
you should not be transferring it for personal use. It should be used for payroll,
Right.
utility, and rent. And so the others are not good. Submitting false payroll documents is not a good thing. They're all bad, but number one was the key.
And that's why, yeah, number one is and also it's the easiest one to prosecute. And you're a defense attorney, and your client comes in and says, "Yeah, I signed this." When you sign this, you have a company that does $4 million. Where's the company? Well, it doesn't really exist. What percentage of PPP loan fraud cases go to trial?
It's probably very low.
That's why we have loan numbers here. Less than 1, over 5, 1 to 5.
Well, and the huge question that I have, Bob, is in the 2021 PPP, lot smaller loans. So how are they going to pursue the
There you go.
$5,000 loan that has fraud?
But again, it's low-hanging fruit, Lance. It's low-hanging fruit. And the answer is the less than 1%. I have not heard. I've researched some trials. I have not heard of one instance where it's gone to trial and the defendant has been acquitted. I could be, if I'm wrong on that, please let me know.
Yeah.
But
I've not heard of any either.
Yeah, I mean, they're all 2-day trials and they're pretty slam dunk. But everyone else please out. Number 3, if you return, okay, so Lance calls me up and said, "Bob, you know what? That $1.5 million you got as a sole proprietor Uber driver, that's not going to fly. We need the money back." So I send the money back to you. But am I still in trouble, Lance?
You can be, especially if you took the word fraudulent out and just said if you return PPP loan funds, you might be a different response, but returning the funds probably is going to help the situation. I'm not sure, Bob. I mean,
yeah, the answer is some people, I mean, they've been seized and they've returned, but they're still going to be found guilty. But yeah, it will mitigate it. But maybe instead of going to jail, you get probation, but you're still going to be convicted. They're going to hold your feet to that. Finally, on average, how many years in jail will you get for a $4 million PPP loan fraud?
well, I'm not sure, but there are probably some examples.
Uh-huh.
Well, and it's white collar crime.
Oh, and they love, the Department of Justice loves to get white collar crime.
So, I mean, Bob, I love the year per $1 million. I like that.
That's the correct answer. It's about that. Everything's different. For $1 million, you are going to get some jail time. Well, some are in those larger years. Some do get that, but predominantly it's about $1 million a year, but that's combined probation and jail time. Again, there's a lot of mitigating circumstances. The bottom line is, if you do that, you're going to spend some jail time. So, let's see. So we talked about interesting case, Real Housewives Beverly Hills stars estranged husband. This one reads like a crime novel. Is alleged he owes $56.8 million to other law firms. He's alleged, again, this is alleged, Lance. The other creditors are saying that he had $2 million in a trust fund from Boeing for the Lion Air crash that he did not distribute to his clients. And he was sanctioned by the court on that. What's interesting about this case, Lance, and I'm sort of throwing it at you, is he got the loan $1.5 million in April, and he filed bankruptcy in December 2020. So he filed bankruptcy 8 months later. This crosses your desk. What are you going to do?
I'm going to obviously file a proof of claim, and as soon as SBA lets us know what the guaranteed purchase process is, I'm going to file for a guaranteed purchase.
Yeah, and any chance that the lender would lose the guarantee on this one?
I don't think so, Bob, unless they, I
Yeah,
mean, again, we have to go back to our IFRs that we relied on, and so many of them indicated that we as lenders could rely on the borrower's certifications in most areas of PPP lending. So unless the lender did something very egregious, I think they're not going to lose the guarantee on this.
we need to get I need to befriend a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or someone on what these people are thinking. Here we have another one. This time though, he got a pretty cool catamaran. I don't know what you get for $700,000 catamaran, but I'm assuming you get 40 feet worth of boat. I'm assuming it's a nice boat, Lance. I'm not much of a.
Bob, if I had $700,000 extra money laying around, I'm not buying a boat with it, Bob.
Well, you get in the boat and flee the country. Maybe that was his plan. I don't know. But here he was sentenced to 3 years in jail, and again, it was about $1 million a year. And what is it? 2 counts of making false statements. There it is, right there. 2 counts of bank fraud and 2 counts of money laundering. Money laundering comes in where you take the money and put it into another account, and you wire it to the boat dealer or the Lamborghini dealer and all sorts of people in that. But it's just amazing.
Wondering if they need someone to store the 40-foot catamaran for a while.
I would imagine it's on the seized auction list. I imagine that will be auctioned very quickly and very profitably on that. And finally, we have number of people with they stole identities. They got together, combined. They got $18 million from PPP
Wow.
and EIDL. They became experts. And they were convicted. In this case, they were convicted, so it did go to trial. And they're all from Southern California, and they weren't happy with just one transaction. They used faked identities and multiple transactions, and just went to town on that. So the takeaway, it's easy fraud to catch. It's easy fraud to convict. This is not 2009 where it was taking forever to go after these community bankers. They're going after the borrowers. And what was also interesting, Lance, last time around, they let the borrowers flip and testify against the bankers.
Oh, yeah.
That was a common one where, I don't know what I was doing, but the evil banker made me take this money. Now they're pretty willing. They're pretty well ignoring the bankers, and they're going right to the end fraudster. So
well, rightfully so, Bob, because the program allows the bankers to rely on the borrowers to be honest, to rely on the borrower's certification. So in a large majority of the cases, these are just people trying to take advantage of the system. Bob, I got curious because of a conversation I had with Delaney, and I started looking. There are actually TikTok videos on how to get a PPP loan, even if you don't have a business. So
yeah, we were gonna play some of those with. We decided to be prudent and not.
Maybe not, but they are out there.
They're throwing the money around, and hey, I got the free money, and they also.
But you know, the thing the Fraud Friday is my favorite segment of the week, and a lot of very interesting stories with a lot of pieces to them this week, Bob. But I always like to end by reminding people, just think of the millions of people who were helped, who did not commit fraud. There are a lot of people that did the right thing.
Well, and the takeaway on this is learn from other people's mistakes. That's what we're doing in this. And that the old Ronald Reagan line: trust your borrower, but let's verify the information. Let's make sure everything's there. And don't get caught up in a web of fraudsters certainly know how to lie. And,
oh yeah.
once you start getting the runaround or start getting funny stories. Hey, real quick, Lance, this was a proud award that we received back. Unfortunately, the trade organization is no longer there, but a Coleman Certified SBA Loan Online Training, we were awarded by our peers in the publishing business. And Lance, you came out to Washington, D.C. and accepted the awards. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, actually,
go ahead.
We did it 2 years in a row, Bob.
That's right. You've won it 2 years in a row. But hopefully we're starting up the new trade organization, so hopefully we'll get another award on your wall there. Real quick, Lance, 30 seconds. What's changed about this, and what are you excited about teaching people?
Well, the exciting part, Bob, is it was time to get it updated. You know, we originally recorded it a handful of years ago before the 50-10-6 was released, so we updated all the information. I was out in Marina Del Rey with you guys. We did 39 segments with all updated information, and I had a chance yesterday, Bob, to talk to a closer who was looking for it. What was important to this closer, Bob, was having a certification, and this will provide that for the closer. So they were wanting to sign up for the course. So it's updated information. It's a great course that you can do at your own pace. And I just strongly encourage you to get your closers signed up for this.
No, and I agree with that. It gives because it is a lot of work to go through this class. There's the homework and the quizzes, and you put in a lot of effort on this, and I know Lance is proud. I'm certainly proud of it as well, of the product that we have, because it elevates your closes to a professional level and recognizes with it. Well, with that, hey, everyone enjoy the long weekend. Enjoy your 4th of July. I know I plan on doing it, and we'll see you Tuesday. And thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great weekend and a wonderful 4th.